Hercules, son of Zeus and a mortal woman, was born with great strength but faced a tragic fate. Hera, Zeus's jealous wife, cursed Heracles to madness. In a furious rage, he committed a terrible act that required atonement. To cleanse himself, King Eurystheus tasked him with 12 near-impossible labors. These labors tested his strength, courage, resilience, and cleverness against mythic beasts and challenges no mortal could face. The first labor was the Nemean Lion, a terrifying beast with golden fur that was impenetrable. Armed with no weapon capable of piercing its hide, Heracles strangled the lion with his bare hands and wore its skin as a symbol of invincibility. Next, he faced the Lernaean Hydra, a multi-headed serpent with poisonous breath. Every time Heracles cut off one head, 2 more would grow back. With help from his nephew Iolaus, he cauterized the necks and defeated the monster, setting the tone for his epic journey. Heracles' third labor was to capture the Cernaean hind, a sacred deer with golden antlers belonging to Artemis. Known for its incredible speed and elusive nature, Heracles chased it for a full year. With patience and respect, he captured it alive without harm, impressing the goddess and earning her favor. The fourth labor was capturing the Erymanthian boar, a wild and destructive beast terrorizing the countryside, braving icy forests and deep snow. Heracles cornered the boar and subdued it alive, dragging the savage animal back to King Eurystheus. The king was so frightened by the boar that he hid inside a large jar, overwhelmed by fear. These labors tested more than brute strength. They demanded patience, persistence, and tactical skill. Heracles proved he was more than muscle. He was a hero, capable of adapting to every challenge that stood in his path with courage and wisdom. For his fifth labor, Heracles was tasked with cleaning the Augean stables, which housed thousands of cattle whose pens had not been cleaned for decades. Instead of doing the dirty work himself, Heracles cleverly redirected 2 rivers, Alpheus and Peneus, to wash away the filth in a single day. This labor highlighted his brains as much as his brawn, showing his ability to solve problems through strategy rather than brute force alone. The sixth labor required driving away the Stymphalian birds, man-eating birds with metallic feathers sharper than arrows. Using a rattle given by Athena, Heracles frightened the birds into flight and shot many down with his bow and arrows. This task demanded precision, bravery, and quick thinking to outsmart these deadly creatures. These tasks combined strength, strategy, and ingenuity. Heracles demonstrated he could think beyond raw power and use both mind and muscle to overcome impossible odds. Heracles' seventh labor sent him to island of Crete to capture the Cretan bull, a wild, savage beast wreaking havoc across the land. Known for its incredible strength and fierce temper, the bull was a dangerous opponent. Using his immense strength, expert wrestling skills, and careful strategy, Heracles subdued the beast. He then captured the bull alive and shipped it back to King Eurystheus, who was once again terrified by the hero's success and the ferocity of the creature. The eighth labor involved capturing the man-eating mares of Diomedes, fierce horses fed on human flesh by their cruel owner, King Diomedes. Heracles tamed these wild beasts by turning the tables. He fed Diomedes himself to the mares, calming them enough to be led away safely. Both labors were dangerous confrontations with wild creatures and ruthless foes, demonstrating Heracles' bravery, raw power, and ability to overcome uncontrollable forces of nature and cruelty. Heracles' ninth labor was to obtain the golden belt of Hippolyta, queen of the fierce Amazon warriors. The Amazons were a formidable force. Hippolyta initially admired Heracles and agreed to give him the belt peacefully. However, Hera stirred the Amazons into battle. Despite being outnumbered, Heracles fought bravely and emerged victorious, securing the prized belt after a fierce struggle. The 10th labor sent Heracles on a long journey to capture the cattle of Geryon, a giant with 3 bodies who lived on a distant island. After a fierce battle in which Heracles killed Geryon and his herdsmen, he drove the cattle across dangerous terrain back to King Eurystheus. These labors expanded Heracles' exploits beyond familiar lands, battling powerful warriors and proving his unmatched courage, endurance, and spirit far from home. For his penultimate labor, Heracles was tasked with stealing golden apples from the garden of the Hesperides, guarded by nymphs and the deadly dragon Ladon. After seeking help from Atlas, who held up the sky, Heracles cleverly tricked him into retrieving the apples while he held the heavens, then escaped with the treasure. This task tested not only his strength, but also his cleverness and ability to negotiate with powerful beings. His final labor was to capture Cerberus, the 3-headed dog guarding the underworld. Granted permission by Hades, Heracles wrestled the fearsome beast into submission and brought it to the surface before returning it safely to the god of the dead. Through these labors, Heracles showed his heroic spirit, strength, wit, and perseverance, conquering impossible challenges. His legend endures in mythonomics as the ultimate symbol of human potential, courage, and resilience in myth.
Thank you for journeying through the myths. Subscribe for more tales of forgotten gods, legendary warriors, and celestial epics. Mythonomics continues, where every story is more than just a legend. For learning about the past, subscribe to our channel Chrononomics. And if you're a fan of comics or hero movies, join us at Comicnomics for epic battles and legendary heroes reborn.